All right, everybody, you're hearing the intro to Sands and Abbott, a conversation. Unfortunately, Jay's off taking care of some personal family business, so he might be joining us a little bit later. I'm not really sure. I kind of talked to him earlier today. I had him on my music show, but again, I think he's off running around doing what he's taking care of, what he needs to take care of. But I'll be bringing in. We got a special guest joining us in just a moment, helping today. I appreciate you stopping in. We'll be introducing our guest in just a minute, so keep it locked right here. We're actually also not on the Sands and Abbott platform. We're over on the Night Talk platform, but hopefully you'll be able to find us over here. And again, I'll be back with our special guest in just one momento. Por favor. All right, hello again, my friends. We're trying to establish contact with our special guest joining me today on Sands and Abbott, a conversation. Hello, my friend. Are you there? Let me see if I can get you in here. Hello, hello. Yeah, the volume's very low. Let me see if I can crank this up a little bit. Let's see here. And we're using a different platform other than Skype. We're on the Unseen Network. Let me see. GOOFYBONE, you there, my friend?
Hello.
There you go. There you go. Now you're coming in loud and clear. How you doing, brother?
Nothing. I'm just hanging out. Ern, how you doing?
Good, man. You surviving that triple-digit temperatures out there? We're just talking off the air.
You know, Ernie, I've had 2 deaths in the family. My lizards in the shack. They perished during this wonderful hot heat.
Man, yeah. I heard that it's going crazy out there. They still got those fires going out there, too?
Oh, yeah, that's down south, though.
Damn.
Probably about 600 miles away from me, but yeah.
You getting any plumage from that, man? That's a huge fire.
Shit. I'll tell you right now, though, you could see it from space. They had a picture of it from outer space, and it looks straight up like a fire.
That's unbelievable, huh? Man,
crazy,
that's huge.
Man. But how you doing, Ernie? How's your neck of the woods out there in that beautiful place you're at?
Oh, up here in New England, it's a rainy day. It's warm and kind of muggy, but it's nice. Hey, Hunter, I got Hunter here today. Hunter's home from school today, taking a day off. Hey, can you say hi to GOOFYBONE? Say hi, GOOFYBONE. He's all hyped up. But everything's good over here in this part of the world. You know, it's a springtime. We're not anywhere near triple-digit temperatures yet. I mean, we got up close to 80 the other day, which has been the warmest day this year so far. But, we're looking up, man. We're heading the right way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. But, yeah, we're thankful it's cooled down now. We're, 91 right now.
Down to 90. Oh, jeez. You got the humidity? You guys get the humidity, too, with that?
We get it. I can chew it like bubble gum.
Oh, it's like you can cut it with a knife, huh? Yeah. I know exactly what you're saying, man. Wow. But so you jumped right into that. Like you went from like late spring, early summer weather right into like the middle of the summer kind of weather, huh? Jeez.
71, and then we went to 90s.
Damn.
I mean, it was a cold 71.
But I tell you,
it's sprung up like a kid that got touched by a fine-ass MILF,
Yeah.
That thing sprung up, man.
I'll tell you, man, we are just waiting. I love the heat, personally. That when you got old bones like me, man, the heat does wonders, man. I get nice and loose in the heat. Let me tell you, I'm in my prime again when that freaking heat, that hazy, hot, and humid kind of weather, they call it, the 3 H's, man. I love that shit. I'm telling you right now, personally.
Well, Ernie, when I get that old, I will make sure that I will stay in heat at all times. But to those of you out there, Ernie's not really old. He's old-minded, so that means he's wise in many ways. That's why he's the Godfather, people.
Yeah, thank you.
So
brother.
don't think he's old and decrepit. This man is energetic, and he is out there creating wonderful things in his wonderful backyard. And
well, from the neck up, I'm like feeling 18, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm like the other day I was out shooting some hoop outside, right? So I love playing hoop. So you know, back in the day, I could dunk. You know, I could get up there and dunk, man. Back in my prime. So like now, I'm barely touching the net, man, and I'm getting kind of bummed out about it. You know what I'm saying? Like the ups ain't there anymore, like they used to be.
Oh man, Ernie, you know what? Can you still do a layup at least?
Hell yeah, yeah. You kidding me? Anything from 15 feet on in, man. You know, I'm all day, man, all day.
You have a 3-point shot, Ernie?
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah.
It's like butter, man. Smooth as butter. I used to play when I started. You know, when I first started teaching, I was working with the high school kids in that alternative program I talked to you about many times. Mm-hmm. So part of, you know, the gym teachers were afraid to come over and work with these kids, so we'd run our own gym classes. And of course, my partner, it was me and another guy I worked with, Pete DeFazio. We were the head teachers. So I get out there in the gym, man. I get these kids. We started playing some hoops, some pickup games, right? And we got some pretty heated games out there, man. They didn't like it when the old man would take them to school. You know what I'm saying? We used to play that game of shooting around the horn. What is it? Around the world. You know, you go to different spots on the court and shoot, and then you go back the other way. So, you know, they all take their turns. And, okay, I'm not going to chance it. I'm going to stay right here on this spot. So I get up there, and I went all the way around and all the way back again. And they're looking at me like, what? Yeah, that was my game, bro. That was my game, hoop, man.
That's why you're the Godfather, Ernie.
But yeah, those kids, they hated getting beat by the old man. Let me tell you, they get out there playing 1-on-1 and forget about it. You know, forget about it. But I love playing hoop. I know you do too, man.
Oh yeah, you know, for a big fat guy, I still have moves. You know, it amazes me sometimes because you know I played. I think it was 2 weeks ago. I was on a court. You know, these kids 17, 18. And you know, I'm still blocking their shots. You know, in junior high, I used to be called the wall because no one could run a layup, you know, against me, or no one could shoot against me because I'd either block it. And you know, these kids, they're, you know, right up there, tall like me. You know, I'm 6'2", and they had some nice shots, but shit, I was still packing them. I was still, you know, tripping them out, and you know, I still had to win. You know, I was thinking, I'm gonna get tired, but nah, I'll still keep it going. It's just my adrenaline was just going. I was like, yeah, let's do it. You know, I love that game, man.
I do. You know, the big guys always take, you know, the blunt of the referee's calls, man. But there's a lot of guys your size, man, that can move out there. I had this one kid in the game. He's probably about maybe 6'4". He probably went about 270, 280, right? 14, 15-year-old kid. So he'd be out there, he'd just be standing straight up with his arms straight up in the air. Guys would go driving into the hole, trying to take it to the rim, and they'd just be bouncing off him like, you know, like Play-Doh or something like that, like Gumby, you know what I mean? And they'd fall to the floor, and they'd be looking up at me as the referee, like, where's the call? I'm saying, hey, this guy's standing straight up. You're the one initiating contact. Don't be looking to me to bail you out on a call, man. You know what I'm saying?
And you know, the funny thing was, since I was a big guy, you know, they would always go knee first, you know, as they're going up for their layup.
Hell yeah.
And, I would always block that knee and push him to the ground. And I would tell the ref, I would be like, hey, it's either he needs me in the chest or in the gut, and I'm out the game, or I you know, protect myself.
Yeah, and you can do that, man.
It was a straight up knee. You know, it wasn't like one of those. You know, I was trying to. No, this guy purposely looked like a Bruce Lee knee to your.
Oh yeah, knee to the groin and then lay it up over you, right, and get the call. Yeah. I hear you, man. Some guys try that crap too, but I'll tell you, there was one kid.
I still got game, you know, just because I don't play it as much. You know, I like to play, you know, once a month maybe, but you know, My sport is handball. I
That's
don't give a fuck how
that's
fat I am. I'm still fast like a motherfucker in handball.
that is a tough ass game, man. Too. I'm telling you right now.
Shit, Ernie, you should see me, man. Through the legs, behind the back, slick my hair back, and with the grease from the gel, I fucking like, I grip it and I like fling it off my fingers, man. It's amazing what Goofy Bone could do with, you know.
So you got the outside and the inside game. You got a little.
I got it all, or off the wall, you name it.
That's
everything.
a tough, man. That's a tough ass game. I seen that
played. We even play off of a chain linked fence, like the back wall.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And you know the main parts that hold the fence. The big pipes.
Yeah, yeah.
If they hit it off that a certain way, it'll bounce a different way. So you got to time it.
Oh.
And boom! If you time it well, you get a good kill shot. Your point. You know what I'm saying?
You know, I used to play. You play racquetball too?
I actually played a guy racquetball, and I played him handball. I was handball, he was the racquetball. Fuck, that racket went fast, but shit, I still hit it like nothing.
Yeah, yeah. I'll tell you, man, you got to be in shape for that game. I used to play quite a bit when I was in the service, not so much anymore, but I used to love that game, man. You got to really, really be in shape to play that. You know, you think you're on a little court or something like that, that'd be easy, but man, I'll tell you, that's
fast.
Now they play that.
What is it called? Eye-hand coordination.
Yeah, hand-eye coordination. Absolutely.
Hand-eye coordination. That's how you say it. Well, fuck. If you got it, you got it. Like I said, my old boss, I used to play him. He was a big old racquetball freak. I even got a racquetball. A racket.
Yep.
I just found it the other day. But yeah, I told him I play handball, and he's all, well, then let's see if you can handle the racquetball. And I told him, no, I'll play handball and you play the racket. But yeah, the ball was much faster, but still I was able to hit it and score points.
Yeah, it's a great game, man. It's a great game.
Great game, very great game.
Now, don't they play team handball and team handball, don't they, in the Olympics?
Yeah, I don't know in the Olympics, but let me tell you something, Ernie. I'm that good to where it could be 2-on-1, and I'll still take them.
Man, that's a.
And I put this on everything I own. My child, my soul, the whole Goofy Bone name. I mean, you ask people on the handball court, and they'll tell you Goofy Bone has to. I've even tried 3, but you can't do 3. It's kind of hard, but for them. But for me, it's easy. But yeah, I fucking took 2-on-1s all the time.
Now you wear what do you wear? You wear gloves without the tips on them, right? Or no?
Let me tell you something. When I play tournaments, I have to wear a glove, but most of the times I don't. And look at a real handball, how small and thick and hard that is. And my fucking hand, absorbs that. I've had gashes in my hands, from it cutting me, but
I can see you like diving for shit too on the court, right?
Fuck yeah, I dive. It's a war, Ern.
Every point. Every point. I hear you, man, but that's a great game, man.
You gotta answer that, Ern? Is that you?
No, the wife's home today, so she's up.
Okay.
Nobody calls me over here,
What?
That's the way I want it. I'm just getting some text messages over here.
Hey, Ernie, I gotta give you a compliment. That group you had on yesterday. I was listening to that show. I was cleaning up though, but I mean, they had some powerful music, man.
Oh, that thing I did last night. I had that guy join us from the North Country Flyers out of
North Country Flyers. Yeah, they sound like an acrobat group, but no,
yeah. They're out of Lansing, Michigan, man. Very talented group of guys.
Very talented guys, man.
They got a couple of guys in the band that were like they living out of Nashville, and they're songwriters down there. They got a lot of their songs that have been picked up by other very famous artists. They got some soundtracks they're working on for some TV shows that'll be playing over.
There was a song that they had. It was about sand.
Sand, yes, yeah. That was
It really touched me, man. I was all stoned and a little bit drunk, but I was before I went on the radio. That song came on, and I was just I was just thinking about life and how precious things are. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah,
if you listen to the story, all the sand that person found was from different areas of war.
Absolutely,
you know?
Absolutely, no doubt about it. Yeah, he actually shared that with me. He sent me that last night during the show. He's in the chat room, and that's not coming up on their next CD they're putting out there. So that's the first time it's ever been played anywhere. He shared it with me and let me play it last night, and I thought it was really tremendous, man. Great guy. It was the guy we were talking to. His name Scott. He's their road manager. He's also a member of the band. He plays the drums. He's a drummer, and he also does some background vocals and stuff like that. But yeah, I got that. It was a song written by a guy named Gord Maxwell, and the track is called Sand. Hey, you mind if I play that, Goofy Bone?
Only if you let me spark this up during the break, Ernie.
Well, as long as you pass it on around, everything's cool with me. We got some of that Goofy Green stuff from last night. You got any of that left over?
No, this is just some regular good old household WEJA, WEED.
Okay, man. Because that Goofy Green sounds pretty good. That Mr. Bill.
I was fucked up off my head, but Ernie, let's before we do anything, let's give a shout out to the chat room. I don't know who's out there. I barely even looked, but whoever's out there, thank you for listening to us. I'm sorry. I know everyone came to look for Jay Sands, but right now it happens to be Bones and Abbott.
That's right.
So,
Bones and Abbott, a conversation on this Friday. TGIF, everybody. Great having you with me, my brother. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
No problem.
And let me see. Yeah, I'll have to check the chat room. We'll give some shout-outs when we come back after this song. I apologize. I've been, totally ignoring the chat rooms lately, man. You know, with this SAM system I got, you got to go, to a different page to get to the chat. It's on a different page than the SAM.
Let me tell you something, Ernie. You're a godfather. You're not even supposed to look at the chat room.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, my brother. But here's that track Goofy Bone was just talking about. It's called Sand, and it's by the North Country Flyers, and our buddy Scott sent this to us last night. Have a listen to this. This is a great track. And then maybe we could talk, Goofy Bone, about what I wanted to talk to Jay about today. What we had planned to talk about is a little bit about the VA and that whole debacle and all that bullshit going on with our veterans. So let's spark them up, and let's listen to this great song here by the North Country Flyers. Here we go, everybody. We'll be right back with my buddy Goofy Bone. Here we go.
Found an old brown envelope in my grandfather's desk, and on it he had written Omaha. I opened it up carefully, not sure what to expect. Maybe lost love letters to my grandma. But it wasn't filled with papers, didn't hold any special plans. What poured out of that envelope was sand. From some beach, from some faraway place, where a band of brothers lived the longest day, where each grain of sand stands for sacrifice, one for every hero who paid the final price. This I know, 'cause it's written in sand. There's an old black Kodak film case on a shelf. Been 40 years since it's seen the light of day. Though the label's hard to read, 'cause the tape is peeling off. It says Vietnam, 1968. Now there's no one left to open it who cares or understands. No one to explain why it's filled with sand. From some beach, from some faraway place, where a band of brothers lived their longest days, where each grain of sand stands for sacrifice, one for every hero who paid the final price. This I know, 'cause it's written in sand. If you see a Ziploc bag and notice it's filled with sand, know that it was gathered somewhere in Iraq. From some beach, from some faraway place, where a band of brothers lives and fights today, where each grain of sand stands for sacrifice. One for every hero who pays the final price. This I know, 'cause it's written in sand. Written in sand. Written in sand. There's an old brown envelope in my grandfather's day.
Yeah, there it is. That's Sand by the North Country Flyers. And again, we're being joined by GOOFYBONE today out on the left coast, out in the hot left coast there. GOOFYBONE, how you doing, bro?
Oh, I'm just a degree more, so we're 92 right now. How are you, Ernie?
92, man. Damn. I'm doing good over here, doing good. Just getting ready to spark one up myself, man. Get ready for the day. It's always Friday, TGIF, everybody. And you're going on tonight, right?
Actually, no, Ernie. I'm going to take a little while off to mourn my death of my lizards.
Oh, okay. There you go. I hear you there, man. I hear you there.
It's just a tragedy, Ernie.
It is a tragedy, man. No doubt about it. Damn. But
hey, Rick says he's been trying to call in. I don't know if
Rick's trying to call me in here. Let me see if I can call. Let me call him here. Hold on. Let me try to call him. Let me get a hold of Rick. See if he's on the horn here. Let me see here. We're connecting to host of Night Talk, the weekend edition, back on the Sandsnet Radio Network, where it belongs. The phone is ringing. Call ended. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, I don't know.
Thank you, Rick, for joining us.
Call declined.
That was Rick from Night Talk Weekend Edition, ladies and gentlemen.
He must be on. Maybe he's on. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see if he's on this other. Hello.
What's going on?
Rick's with us, everybody. This is Rick, host of Night Talk, the weekend edition. Rick, thanks for calling in, bro. How you doing?
Doing good, man. How are you fellas?
We're doing great here. We're doing really good, man. We got GOOFYBONE's with us, as you know. GOOFYBONE, how you still there, bro?
How you doing, Rick? I'm a big fan of yours. How you doing?
How you doing, GOOFYBONE? Small world. I'm a big fan of yours also.
Well, I'm a big fan of you both.
Well, that's called a paradox. Yay.
That's called start bowing, Ernie Abbott.
So how's your day going there, Rick? You got you home from work, a long day at the job place again today, and you're back?
Well, I don't know if I'd call it a long day. See, I do have the luxury of having a pretty damn good job, and I didn't come strolling in until about 10 o'clock this morning, but I strode in with breakfast for everyone, and then I decided about 2:30 it was time to go.
That's nice. So a little flex time you got over there on occasion or something?
Yeah, pretty much. I do what I want to do when I want to do, and they pay me for that.
Beautiful stuff. I know you're, what is it, the boss's son that's always getting into your chat room during your show?
Yeah, he it's funny because he's actually one of my biggest fans. This guy, he likes to listen to the shows, and then I go into work and he talks about the show all damn day and compares me to this comedian and that comedian and this show host and that show host, and yeah, I'm thinking about having him run my marketing team.
Well, I'm going to tell you something, Rick. We've been telling you that sometimes people deserve the recognition they deserve, and that's why I'm a big fan of yours. I'm waiting for the poster so I can hang it above my bed.
Got to get the 8x10 autograph glossy up there.
I do though. I do want to say though that I do appreciate all the kind words from everybody, and I really do. I'm not saying that to be funny or anything else either. I am a lot of times I'm kind of blown away at some of the messages I get, or the emails, or some of the things that people say, and I don't get it. I kind of get on and I'm kind of crazy and insane, and nothing really makes fucking sense. But people seem to, at least some people seem to dig it, and I think that's pretty cool.
That's all good stuff, man. And I know I talked to Jay earlier today. He was on my music show earlier, Rick. I don't know if you heard that, but we actually played a song that he just recorded, and he's doing okay. But he just had a little family issue he had to deal with this afternoon, so that's why he's not here with us right now. So I appreciate you gentlemen stopping in, man, and helping me out over here for real.
Sands and Abbott must go on.
Absolutely.
I've been filling in for Jay this long, so what the hell?
Yeah, it's been like 3 weeks, going on a month, man. You might have to rework that contract and get some additional revenue for all these extra shows you're putting up over there. Instead of $5.
I'm having a really bad feeling he's not going to be back next week either.
Talking to him this morning, I don't think so, Rick. I think it's at least another week he's going to be out doing his thing. I think you're right on about that. But what I wanted to talk to the Sandman about is, I know you've been going on like Wednesdays and Fridays, but I wanted to talk to him about maybe getting GOOFYBONE or Pumpkin Face or some other people. Like, you remember when he was on vacation and GOOFYBONE filled in that day, and Pumpkin Face did a show, and I did one, and you did a couple, Rick.
Yeah, I remember well. That's when I tried to hold the studio hostage, and it all went awry.
Sorry to bring that up.
Go snooping around like a chick looking in somebody's medicine cabinet, and that was a terrible show. I don't think he'll ever want me to do a show like that again.
Oh, man, you did fine, man. I know that was your first time with the Sam broadcasting thing, too, but you pulled it off, bro. I'll tell you. It was all good, man.
Things were going off. I didn't even know what the hell's happening.
I don't know. I say, if you guys are interested, I know, Rick's, like I said, been filling in. Rick, you're going to go on tonight at 10, right?
Yes, sir. But I am thinking that I'm going to cancel the Sunday show again this weekend. Partly because, I've been filling in for Jay, and so that's been, that's been putting me on a couple of days more than what I would be on. And to be quite honest, I really got a lot of stuff I got to get caught up on, and I explained and talked about this a little bit on some show I did last week or something or other, but I've got 3 different residences I have to take care of and upkeep on, and sometimes it keeps me rather busy.
I think moving forward, maybe like at least for the summer months, maybe in the fall you can look at it again. I think Sundays might be a good day to maybe moving forward, just only not kind of lock it in every week, kind of do like a week by week thing. You know what I mean? Because I know Sundays are really busy for me as well.
Well, to be honest with you, there's a lot of stuff I want to revamp and do differently, and really, as it stands right now, I'm just waiting to see what's going to happen with Jay before I make any decisions on what I'm going to do or want to do or any of that kind of stuff.
Right.
But so yeah, I just kind of taking it as it goes for now.
Yeah. All right. So at least you'll be on tonight at 10 o'clock with Night Talk. And then again, Saturday night, you'll be on again at 10 p.m. every Saturday night, Night Talk, the weekend edition, with your solo show host, Rick, doing his thing.
That's right.
And we got
Wednesdays and Fridays, I'm Ricky Sands.
Ricky Sands.
And then Saturday and Sunday, it's just straight up Rick. But, I do like doing that Sunday show, though, because it gives me a minute to be kind of serious with people and hit some actual issues rather than just the screwed up stuff I like to read. But
yeah,
it's just here lately, especially with the weather being nice and everything. I got to get caught up on some stuff.
I hear you, man. I know you're taking care of others. You know, you got your mom. I think you're taking care of her lawn, and I know how it is, man. I've been doing the same thing around my area. So you know, something's got to give. You know, you got to take care of the family first. But anyway, speaking about what you're saying about your Sunday show, Rick, talking about things topical and things going on. I was talking to GOOFYBONE a minute ago about this debacle going on with the VA, and that's really what I talked to Jay briefly about it this morning. That was kind of going to be one of our topics that we talked about in our conversation here out on the back porch. By the way, guys, help yourself to the beverages over there. It's courtesy of the Sandsnet Radio Network. Help yourself.
Are you serious, Ernie?
You mind if I
Out of all this time I've been here, I've been wanting a fucking beer.
Yeah, help yourself, man. And Rick's got something he wants to light up and pass around too, so we'll get that going. We already GOOFYBONE already passed something around. You missed it earlier, but yeah, that's all good, Rick. But I wanted to talk about the VA and basically GOOFYBONE was not up to speed 100% on it. But what's going on basically is that the VA, which you know is in charge of caring for our veterans. And many with a lot of debilitating injuries and needs. And I'm talking not just, you know, military folks from today, but going way back. Anybody that's authorized to get VA services. And what's happening is the VA has been having trouble accommodating the number of people that need assistance at the various facilities around the country. So, you know, the time length for some of these guys to get appointments is like they were on Obamacare or something. You know, it's taking months instead of days to get seen. And some of these guys have, you know, I'm talking about people dealing with cancer and some very serious things. So the VA sent out a memo in 2011 that they wanted all their facilities to work on the time frame that people get seen. And they wanted it to be basically a thing of 14 days or less. They want people seen if they call in within 14 days. Everybody should have an appointment and be seen and taken care of. Now, obviously, that was a little overwhelming for these VA officers. So what they decided to do was, to make themselves look good, they came up with this waiting list off to the side that people couldn't access other than to book the schedulers there at the VA facilities. And what they were doing is, if people would call in on one day and they didn't have an appointment for them, they put them on this quote-unquote waiting list. And when an appointment opened up within a 2-week time frame, they would plug the person in there. So it looks essentially like the person might have been waiting a month and a half on this waiting list, but it looks like they got seen within that 2-week, that 14-day time frame. Now the bullshit is that all these directors of these various facilities were getting bonuses if they were able to get the time frame within 14 days or less. So these people were fudging the records and betraying our veterans. And what happened was, a lot of these guys that were on the list, or gals, never even got seen, and they died before they got seen. There was like 40 out in Phoenix. There was another 23 out at, I think, in Pittsburgh. But originally it did start off in Phoenix, Arizona, where it came out. There was a whistleblower that came out, one of the doctors that worked there 24 years, and talked about this list they had off to the side, and how erroneous and how wrongheaded and how betraying that was to our veterans, and how technically all the bullshit it was. And this director, her name is Sharon Hellman. She was the director of this Phoenix facility, and funny enough, she had been in Seattle prior to that and had gotten the numbers looking so good out there in Seattle because of this bullshit system they developed, that she got a promotion and got moved to this Phoenix facility. Plus she got her bonus because of the great work she was doing. Okay, now this thing is now spread. It started in Phoenix. It went to Fort Collins, Colorado, Austin, San Antonio, Los Angeles, Dallas, Pittsburgh, Memphis, Columbia, South Carolina, Augusta, Georgia. This thing is spreading, and it's going on everywhere. And they've had people now that do the scheduling that have come forward and said that they were trained on how to do this and how to have this separate little waiting list, quote unquote, on the side, off the book. So the facility was look good and it would look like they actually are, within the 14-day time frame for giving the veterans their appointments. So that's in a nutshell what it's all about, Rick. What say you on this?
Crock of fucking shit,
ain't that bullshit, GOOFYBONE?
You know what? I'm sorry to say, these are people that risk their fucking lives for us Americans, so we could be free and safe. And this is how they're being treated. like some thug hooligan off the street that doesn't have health insurance.
Yep.
Seriously, man, this is so disrespectful.
Them thug hooligans get seen, man. These guys weren't even getting seen. Someone passed away while they're on the fucking waiting list with cancer, man.
Ernie, look at what you just said. She got her promotion. She's living the lavish life. For doing what? Skimming?
And she got a friggin' bonus for all these...
Where's the law and justice to come arrest these fucking scam artists?
Yeah, see, that's where I'm going with
That's what I
this.
don't understand about America.
That's where I'm
Just
going.
the other day, Whoopi Goldberg told the world that Jay-Z should have beat his sister-in-law. Like, it's okay to beat women. Now it shows you it's okay to scam, you know, the IRS. They spend millions of taxpayers' money on stupid things. And now we have these sort of programs. How many more programs out there are scamming? Where the people depend on them and they're out there fucking around? That's fucked up, man. That's why I'm saying, America, I'm sitting here smoking and watching it deteriorate. Because this wouldn't be America 20 fucking years ago.
I tell you, I wouldn't mind... You know, I'm not into violence against women, but if there was one woman I could punch, it would be her, fucking Whoopi Goldberg. That's all I'm saying. Sorry to interject that. Rick, what say you on this topic?
Well, a couple of different things, really. I mean, first and foremost, you know, this is the same, you know, this VA is run by the same government that enforces public trust laws on other businesses and organizations. And when these businesses and organizations break the public trust laws, they are fined and are imprisoned. So I'm interested to see if that's going to happen the same way with some of these higher ups at the VA. Secondly, I see a lot of people, and mostly people who lean towards the right, want to say, this is all Obama's fault. This is the VA you get under Obama. Well, maybe. But I would argue that this has been going on a lot longer than Obama. See, this is what I'm getting frustrated with people. Listen, Obama's a piece of shit, both his black and white side. Okay, he's a piece of fucking shit. He's a failure as a president. He doesn't even like this country. But not everything happens just because of Obama. Our federal government as a whole has been out of control and been doing this kind of shit for quite a few administrations now, not just Obama's. And, you know, the people that are out there that are angry and saying, well, this is all under Obama, take that same anger and put it towards our federal government as a whole. Because this has been going on a lot longer than Obama.
Yeah, I got to agree with that, man.
Rick, you better not point that towards me because I never said nothing about Obama.
No, and I'm not. But I've just, well, number one, first, you know, Bob in the chat, he actually put in there, you know, it's all Obama's fault. But and I'm not just pinning this on Bob. I've heard this from tons of people. I hear it from all the talking heads on the you know, the national networks or what have you. And that's everybody that leans towards the right. This is what you get under Obama. This is what you get under Obama. We, the people, if we want to start fixing a lot of the problems that are happening in this country, we got to get out of the habit of just blaming it on one guy. We've got to understand that our federal government as a whole, both sides, and the president included, are completely out of fucking control.
Amen to that statement. Got to agree with that totally. No doubt about it.
You know, the sad thing is that America, the plan that some of us grew up on, you know, on this is the land of the free and the home of the brave. This is the greatest country in the world. Nobody talks about that anymore. Who has an American dream? Do you even hear about children having an American dream?
Well, wait a minute. That's because you're not allowed to have an American dream anymore. Now, that's one thing we can credit to this fucking administration and all the liberals who follow them, is there is no longer an American dream. Everybody's equal. You're not allowed to succeed. If you succeed, you are penalized. You are punished. You have to pay because that's not fair.
Good point.
Yeah, and it's like giving losers trophies because they happen to lose.
Amen to that. It's absolutely truth into that statement. No doubt about it.
I hate that shit. I remember when I was growing up, there was first, second, And if there was luckily a third place trophy, oh no, you would get like a ribbon with a stupid little medal. But I mean, when I was playing baseball, I wanted that trophy. And even though, you know, some of my team were slackers, we were good enough to get that second place trophy. And that made me, you know, felt greatly achieved because I worked my ass off for that.
Well,
now,
see, you know what? You just brought up a good point. And I don't even know if you realized you did, Goofy Bone. But because you took second place and you guys worked your ass off for second place, that heightens your goal for next year to hit that first place spot. But see, with the way things are now and the way these liberals are designing it, is they take the ambition away because everybody's equal and everybody's a winner. So there's no ambition to get ahead, and that's not just with sports. Exactly. That's in our everyday life.
That's true.
No, I'm serious because I see these little leaguers. They're all getting trophies. The losers too. 0-17 got a trophy. How the fuck does that happen?
Yeah.
A trophy's supposed to be something that you worked hard for to achieve. Not just a given here.
That's the politically correct way of the day. Oh, come on now.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Rick.
I was just going to say, you know, Bob says they're putting all the businesses in California out of business and they're moving to China. And I don't know who he means by they, but I'll tell you what. You know, Bob, you live there, so I'm sure you know. But, you know, California's government is just as fucked up as our federal government. And a lot of states, not just California, a lot of states. And really, this is what our forefathers warned us against, see, because when you let the federal government out of control, such as we have, it spreads, and it spreads into our state governments. And California is a prime example of a federal government out of control and how it bleeds into the state governments.
Yeah, it's like any government that's strong enough to give you everything is strong enough to take away everything. No doubt about it.
You know what the problem is those bimbos over there, Barbara Boxer and Dianne Feinstein, those bitches have to drop in order to start something new over here. And I'm going to be straight up honest with you people. I was little. I think I was 4 or 5 when I remember seeing commercials on Dianne Feinstein. She's still there.
Yeah, that's the problem, man.
Seriously.
I'm telling you.
I remember when she was fighting with, what's her name? That chick I just said right now. They were fighting against each other. Now they're all buddies. It's like I told many times, I have no problem with the older crowd, but the older crowds, they always had a vision that always fucked up.
Tell you, that Barbara Boxer, man. God damn.
Another one. She's thinking, okay, you know, let's take the water out of all the little farmers in Central California, where you know, half of America gets all its crops from. But let's just take the water from them, and if you know they have you know, water wells, you know, they have water. But if they don't, they're shit out of luck. So I'm going to tell you something. Because of those people's propaganda, your food prices will skyrocket. You'll be paying like $5 for a carrot.
Yeah, I hear you there.
And it's because of them.
But I'll tell you this, going back to the VA for 1 second, this General Shinseki, who's, you know, I salute him for his service he gave to a country, 4-star general. But the bullshit going on, you know, remember back when the Walter Reed Hospital, which is supposedly the shining star of the VA medical establishment, and how they found stuff falling apart and falling off the walls, and the place was in its shambles, and they hadn't maintained the place properly. And then they came up with this plan that you couldn't bring any prayer items into the hospital because you might offend some other group. You couldn't bring a Bible or a prayer beads or wear your yarmulke into the VA facility. There were people like, you know, the most hurt, the most needy medically.
You know, let me ask you something, Ernie. Those veterans there in that hospital, who the hell do people out there think they prayed to before they went and had their limbs blown off?
That's what I'm saying, Rick. Exactly. You going to tell me you can't allow people to bring in a prayer item to a hospital where they're visiting the most serious casualties that have come back from overseas. Come on, what kind of boat? I mean, they backed off and did a tap dance backing off on that policy. But imagine even thinking that something like that's going to fly. What the hell are they thinking over there?
Yeah,
I really don't know
just,
where America's going to go in the next 20 years. Like I tell people, I'm sitting back, smoking my blunt, watching this beautiful country deteriorate.
But
I'm not one who's going to get up and say everybody needs to pick up their arms and storm onto Washington. I'm just not going to go that far. But I will be honest in saying that I believe our federal government has gotten so out of control that that's probably what it will take to bring America back to what it was. I find it ironic that our forefathers fought to get us away from a monarchy. And here we are, we're doing nothing but electing Bushes and Clintons, and then look at some of these guys in Congress that have been in there for 50-plus years, and then their family members are taking their seats. And, this is exactly what the fuck our forefathers, fought so hard to get us away from. And then here we are, just destroying it all.
I'm with you, man. I think it's time to consider term limits, man. We got to do something. If the voters aren't going to move these people out, when it's become a lifelong profession, like GOOFYBONE was just saying, people in their 40, 50 years, man, and they ain't doing the people's business up in there. I'm telling you that right now. You all know that.
Well, see, that's the thing. When America first started out, the federal government was put in place to protect our freedoms and our sovereignty. That's it. Nothing more. The rest of it depended on the states. Okay. And they weren't put there to run businesses and run this and run that and hand out welfare and all this other jazz that they're doing. They were just there to protect our freedoms and sovereignties. That's it. Nothing more. But now look what the federal government does. They own us. We work for them. You got blacks out there still bitching about racism. Why don't they holler at the real fucking people that have not only made them slaves, but everybody in America slaves? We have this saying, America, the land of the free. No, we are not free. American citizens pay out their asses in taxes to be an American citizen.
That's for sure, man. What is the date now? The tax-free date after paying, your allowance, your property, your not your property taxes, but your pay, the taxes you make in your paycheck every week. I think it's like May now before you get a free, start earning the money that you rightfully belongs to you. The government is, and it ain't, and Obama and Biden even said it. It ain't a spending problem. It's a revenue problem. What kind of bullshit is that?
Yeah, whatever. Barco in your chat saying term limits make the bureaucrats even more powerful. And I don't know. I disagree with that. I think we need term limits, and I kind of strayed away from the point I wanted to get to when I was talking about the federal government there. But that's the other thing, is the fact that with the term. See, the thing is back in the day when we first started, people went into government to provide a public service for the people. A public service.
Public.
But now it's become a job, a career, a way to get rich in their eyes. In fact, I played this clip on one of my shows, but there was some Democrat out there fucking whining and crying there in Congress that the $174,000 a year he makes just isn't enough to live off of.
God damn. I heard that.
We, the people, should be paying them in Congress more because it's just not enough to live off of. Meanwhile, we have the highest rate of unemployment ever. We have the highest rate of people on some type of welfare ever. And he's going to cry to us that the $174,000 that they steal from our pockets isn't enough?
Yeah. Plus all the benefits attached to that, man. It's really incredible, man. Really incredible. That's a good point.
Oh, he left those out, Ernie. He left out all the benefits on top of that $174,000. He left out the medical, which isn't the same medical that the Obamacare bullshit
of course.
It's
right.
In fact, their medical is one of these cafe fucking deals, one of these supreme plans that Obama lectures us on. That's first and foremost. They get that. They get not to mention the lifetime benefits, whether they're in that fucking seat or not. I mean, what do they have to serve? Only 3 years, and then they get lifetime benefits?
Yes, they do. Absolutely. You're right about that.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's truly gotten way out of hand. Like Rick was saying, back in the day, they went in there, they served their country, they did their time in Congress or the Senate, and then they went back to their whatever life they were leading before that time. And it's not like that nowadays, man. You look at the numbers and how many people have been in there year after year after year after year. And what they're doing now is, the day after they get elected, they're starting to work on their campaign for the next election and filling up their war chest and all that bullshit.
Oh, yeah. And then we can't figure out why nothing gets done.
Damn. But, it is on both sides, too, Rick. I got to agree with you. And, I wanted to lead into this, the whole thing on Benghazi. And Boehner, John Boehner, the head of the Speaker of the House, the
crybaby.
Yeah, the crybaby. What the hell took so long to appoint this special counsel to look into this situation? What the hell's he been dragging his feet about? They got the majority over there. What the hell's wrong with him?
Well, originally, and I don't have the articles in front of me, but I did read into this a little bit. And originally, he didn't want to appoint a committee or anybody to a committee. He didn't even want a committee, and there was some type of backroom deal made. I think most of it has to do with the fact that the midterms are right around the corner. I think that was the most of it right there. But originally, he didn't want to do another committee.
Jeez.
You guys don't understand. This is a United States ambassador that died over there. This wasn't just some regular tourists. They should have went to war over this fucking crap.
That soil, every embassy around the world, Goofy Bone,
that's American soil.
Absolutely, that's what I'm saying. That is considered American soil. That's like you're attacking us in New York City or over here in the USA. No doubt about it.
Back in the day, that would have been considered an act of war.
Oh, absolutely.
Any president back in the days, if that would have happened in Reagan's times, we would have struck like nothing.
Yeah.
Bush would have went to war. Anyone would have went to war, but they did nothing. And poor Christopher Stevens was drug out like some fucking piece of shit off the street, man. I mean,
he was a shining gentleman. I heard you talking about him on your show.
He was a very encouraging man. I'm serious.
He was top shelf, man. He was one of the best and the brightest as far as ambassadors go around the world, man. That's why they stuck him into that tough spot. But how can you protect that? How could that embassy only have the protection of like it was in fucking Paris, France, or something? They were so undermanned over there, and they were putting in requests to get a boost in their protection and so forth and so on. And, the government dropped the ball, man. It's got to fall on somebody's lap. Somebody's got to be held accountable for that whole thing. Somebody's got to be held accountable. Somebody. I don't give a shit. Hillary Clinton was the Secretary of State at the time. She, I'm sure, dropped the ball, and she's to blame for what the aftermath of this, losing them 4 Americans, including this ambassador, Mr. Stevens. And, hopefully Rand Paul, I think he was appointed chairman, one of the chairs of that committee, and he's a pretty serious, not Rand Paul, excuse me, Trey Gowdy. I'm talking about Trey Gowdy from South Carolina. And that guy's got his shit together, man. He knows what it's all about. And I think with him in charge, I think we're going to get some answers finally. I'm hoping anyway. What do you think, Rick?
Well, it just goes to show you how stupid our government thinks we, the people, are. Because remember, we're supposed to be their bosses. We're the ones that elect them into there. And they can brush this Benghazi thing off like it's nothing. Oh, there's nothing to investigate. It is what it is. What does it matter, right, Hillary? But, and they just kind of brush it off like it's no big fucking deal. But meanwhile, they're ready to call out every fucking available force there is to rescue some girls in Nigeria and get to the bottom of that.
Oh, yeah. Save our girls. But nobody, has a big, huge ceremony for an ambassador. It takes a lot to be an ambassador. They didn't even have no press coverage of his funeral or any fucking shit like that. They treated him like just a normal fucking person that went to visit a country that got killed. That's all they treated him like.
Yep.
That's an ambassador.
And we Americans are so stupid and so forgetful that none of this is going to matter, and that's why Hillary thinks she can still run and win this thing. I mean, it's ridiculous. I don't get it. People, with that alone, to have somebody have this happen, refuse to take accountability, refuse to get to the bottom of it, and say, well, I'm still going to run for president in 2016, and I'm pretty sure I'll still win this.
Imagine the arrogance of that statement.
Oh, Jesus.
That's some bullshit right there. Well, they're counting on the dumbness of America if she's talking like that.
They've spent many administrations, all right? With Obama, I think it's gotten worse, but they've spent many administrations dumbing down the American people and convincing us that they are more responsible over our lives than us. And apparently it's worked. I got to be honest with you. I personally don't have much faith in the American people anymore. I mean, and I say this, and it's hard for me to say because I love this fucking country so much. But you know, you got to look at the big picture, and you got to look at the reality of it. With all this that's going on, we still put in the same fucking bastards year in and year out.
Yeah, and then when they complain, the people who voted these idiots in, you got evidence the first time. These are like second termers, you know, people that have been voted already. You already have a fucked up record, and you're still voting these idiots in. I don't understand this shit. Yeah. Where did we go wrong?
And it's gotten so bad that you got fuckers out there that can get caught up in fucking, you know, weenie scandals. You know, they're showing their cock scandals and you know, all this other crazy shit going on, and think that that's not going to matter. They can still run. I mean, it's like a lot of these scandals anymore nowadays are almost pop culture and cool, and it's something to run off.
That blows my mind, man. But it's always, you know, everybody looks at well, it ain't my guy that's the problem, it's your guy, which is the bullshit, you know. It's all of them, man. Let's get a fucking clean slate, man. There's like 430 congressmen running, like 21 senators, man. It's time to sweep the carpet clean, man, and let's start over again, man. I tell you.
And to show I'm not just some right-wing idiot, I say we start with McCain. He needs to be the first one to fucking go.
Yeah, time for him to retire, man. Yeah, he served his country. You know, we all know his record and as a POW and all that. But God bless him for that. But it's time for him to move on. And, you know, not for nothing, if you got a hot wife like that, I'd be wanting to stay home a little more anyway.
And I say, any one of them fuckers, any single one of them fuckers who next election isn't willing to sign a contract stating that they will repeal Obamacare needs to go. Bye. See you, bye.
Bye-bye. Have a nice career. Yeah, thanks for serving. Yeah.
Gentlemen, speaking of bye-byes, I'm going to take off. I got to go get some lunch. So, Ernie, it's always an honor, and thank you for letting me hang out. And
GOOFYBONE, appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
Once again, I'm a fan, Rick, and I'll always be a fan.
Thanks, man. Take care.
Hey, before you go, GOOFYBONE, I want you to listen to something here. Can you get a second here? I'm just going to play.
I got a couple of seconds.
Yeah, I'm just going to play a short bit here. Have a listen to this.
Hold on. Let me rewind this. Hold on. And they ignore you.
Hold on.
You want them to obey your constitutional mandate and secure your borders, and they ignore you. You ask them to enforce your immigration laws, and they ignore you. You
stop the madness of handing $300 billion of a bankrupted treasury to illegal alien welfare, rewarding them for making a mockery of your laws, and they ignore you. And now, in open defiance of the overwhelming will of the people, are preparing more amnesty programs. You say, stop exporting my nation's vital industries to foreign shores, and they ignore you. You say no to using your money to bail out failed, corrupt, and greedy businesses, and they ignore you. You say implement the E-Verify system so American jobs go to American workers, and they ignore you. If your self-serving Congress were a business, they'd all be in jail now. The biggest traitors among you hold elective office. Only when they feel the almighty wrath of we the people, marching in the streets from California to New York, shouting we're mad as hell and we want our country back, will they get the message they work for you. Wake up, America. While you were playing with the toys of your consumer wealth, you lost much more than your bloated economy of living beyond your means. You lost your representative democracy. Your servants have become your masters. Taxation without representation is tyranny. But still you look to government to solve problems they created in the first place. You're sucking at the hind tit of a dead cow. Why isn't there a 3 million person We the People march on Washington? A nationwide taxpayers revolt. Thousands of cars and trucks surrounding your nation's capital, bringing your failed government to a standstill. Democracy doesn't repress power. It unleashes it to we the people. Take it now. They dictated an economic salvation plan to you. Now it's time to stick it to them with a we the people stimulus package. Require all laws that apply to the rest of the country to equally apply to Congress. Start by first removing the elite privileges that place your non-representing representatives above you, not with you. Require all laws that apply to the rest of the country to equally apply to Congress. Repeal Congress's right to vote for their own raises. Balance the federal budget. Force your legislators to do what you now have to do. Live within your means. If you don't, you're committing national suicide. Make Congress pay into the Social Security system. They make laws for it. Now they might be interested in thinking twice before they allow 20 million illegal aliens to reap the benefits of a retirement program the legal citizens paid into all their lives. Long-term power corrupts. Limit Congress from serving more than 2 terms. That's all you give your president. Let them search for their own 401k plan instead of the gross unfairness of awarding them their full salary for the rest of their lives after only serving 1 term. Stop paying for lawmakers' insurance premiums. After all, they're only part-time employees. They might pass some laws on the insurance companies if they had to find one themselves. Throw out of office every congressman and woman who didn't bother to read the biggest spending bill in history before voting for it. With the money you save from all of the above, put it into increased salary and benefits for the men and women of the armed forces. They never fail you. Start no war unless you intend to win it. Make English the official language of America. You talk of United We Stand, but do nothing to make it happen. Give every legal immigrant a chance to succeed. Not 1 cent of taxpayer money for illegal aliens. We are a nation of laws and do not reward lawbreakers. Abolish the Electoral College and put the election of the president back in the hands of we the people. Bring back universal service. 2 years in the military or 2 years in community involvement. Ensure your future. Rekindle the spirit of America. Service, honor, and duty to country. Give your young people a chance to understand they are entitled to nothing they don't earn. Wake up, America. You've allowed yourselves to become little more than cowering spectators, watching the nation your grandparents built, the richest, most powerful, most self-sufficient republic in history, with the highest standard of living any nation ever achieved, now in the middle of the greatest unprecedented decline in modern history. The world's only superpower can't defend its borders, balance its budget, win its wars, manufacture its own products, or protect its own currency. Your total government debt obligation in the next several years is approaching the gross domestic product of the entire world. You've diminished the future of your children, grandchildren, and 10 more generations of Americans. On September 11, 2001, 300 million Americans put aside what divided them and rallied around what united them. You proudly flew your flags, wore T-shirts that said, "These colors don't run." Then your leadership told you to do nothing. Let your professional army do the fighting. Perhaps you learned to do nothing too well. 233 years ago, the silent majority in Boston got fed up with taxation without representation and held a little tea party to prove the anger.
Yeah, that's just a little clip there. That's if Thomas Paine were alive today, what he would say about our country. What do you think of that one, Goofy Bone, before you go?
That is what America is right there. I couldn't have said it any better. I mean, seriously. We should be going over there and storming Congress and showing them we're not stupid. We know what's happening. Now it's time for you to put it away and get back to business. But no, it's not going to happen until it really affects us. Like this Obamacare, it's affecting us because I'm not paying no $800 just so I could have everything when I used to pay $400 for it.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
I agree with you.
But with that extra $800, you know, I get a pregnancy tests, prenatal care.
Yeah, just what you need.
That's what I need, you know.
But thanks
that makes
for.
me want to go knock up bitches. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. I got it. Don't worry.
Well, don't worry about it. If they get impregnated and they don't want to carry it to term, you got some government subsidized abortions.
Well, I'm pretty sure there'll be like a Happy Meals at McDonald's pretty soon. But anyways, gentlemen, it's an honor. And I'll see you guys after my mourning over my two dead lizards, Allie and Taily.
Yeah, wish them the best, man. Again, Goofy, great to have you join us, my friend. I just wanted to thank you for hanging in there for a couple more minutes. I thought you might enjoy that last little audio bit there.
I really enjoyed it, Ernie. And I thought it was Jay Sands at first, but then I had to really realize that it wasn't. But,
yeah.
You guys have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys when I see you guys.
All right, Goofy Bone. See you later. Don't forget, Rick's on tonight, 10 o'clock, over here on the Sandsnet Radio Network. So check him out tonight.
Oh, I will. And as a fan, I'm always there, even though I'm not in the chat room.
I know you are. There. All right. Take care, Goofy Bone. Give our best to Pimp Daddy, too, man.
Take care, man.
Yeah. So that was a little clip I just wanted to interject there. It gets a little radical at the end, I'm with you as far as, storming the White House and tearing down the fences and all that crap. There are other ways I think that we can get our message across without going that far, those kind of means.
I have no objections with not so much storming the White House, but walking on Washington. I think he had a good idea. Why can't millions of us, the We the People crowd, let's hope it is 3 million or better, have a peaceful protest surrounded in Washington? Why not? I mean, we have million-man marches for every fucking thing else. Yeah. Why not for the most important thing, your freedom?
I agree, man. How about having a thing, set it like back in the day with MLK Jr. out there on the Washington Monument, and the Lincoln Memorial, and having everybody up there and have a day of some good conversation and some good speakers up there, and talk about the dream we have today, man. I don't know. I agree with that, man. I think it might come to that. It might really come to that. But it's going to be very interesting. I know some of the primary elections going on kind of have a little people thinking that things are going to change a little bit. There's been some races that have been been running now. Some of the primaries going on leading up to November, when we have the elections coming up in very important midterm elections. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in them midterms, Rick. It really is, man.
I love voting time. I really do. There's nothing better than getting in that ballot and filling out your ticket. I don't know. For me, it makes me feel good and proud and like I'm doing what every good American should do. I don't know. For me, I love it. But this is one time. This is one voting time that I'm really not excited. I just, as I said earlier, I've kind of lost faith in we Americans just because some of the shit that we keep allowing to go on. And that's the problem, is we're allowing this shit to go on.
In the end, you're right. No doubt about it. It is our government, essentially.
And you could argue it's a losing battle because, listen, our government, our federal government, has done a damn good job of making people of this country dependent. And now that's all by design, because if you're dependent on them, of course you're going to keep voting for them.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And this has been going on for a while. Okay, our government, our federal government, has done pretty good at trying to make people dependent off them. Now, but I would say that with this particular administration, it was like nitro was kicked in. The nitro button, it's been kicked into overdrive as far as making the American people dependent on their government.
You know what really brought that to focus in my eyes was when Hurricane Katrina was going to hit New Orleans. How many days beforehand did people know that storm was coming, and yet they sat in their houses waiting for the government to come by with buses or somebody to come by with some kind of way for them to get out of town, instead of doing the right thing and getting on their ass and getting their family together and getting the hell out of Dodge? And then as a result, we saw all them people sitting out on the roofs of their houses waiting for the helicopters to to fly in there to rescue them. Remember that whole debacle? To me, that's what really opened my mind about the dependency of Americans and how they are so dependent on the government for every friggin' thing.
Well, and that's just a small example, but you're right. I mean, we've been trained as a people to sit and do nothing for ourselves. Let your government handle it, and that's what these people did. And speaking of Katrina, I think it's great that, who was it there? Nagy there. All this blame putting on Bush, and for a while there, there was claims that Bush somehow created Katrina and pointed it towards that city, and then there was claims that Bush himself blew up the levees, and then so meanwhile, and then you got Nagy out there, bringing all this up and how crappy his administration is with the help and everything else, and we're going to turn this into a chocolate city. And what is he doing behind the scenes this whole time? Stealing from the fucking people of his state.
Absolutely. That all came out, man. Stealing like they were blind, man. Unbelievable. You're absolutely right. And, going back to that governor of that state at that time, that woman, I forget her name now, but you're right, absolutely, man. It's like, the dependency and the number of people out there, like, I think it's the people that are on Social Security and nowadays and so forth and so on. It's just like growing by leaps and bounds, man. And you're gonna have a day where back in the day you had like 10 people paying taxes and working for every one person getting benefits. Now I think it's swung the other way, where it's almost like one person supporting 10 out there. You know what I'm saying? And it's only gonna get worse for those that even have a job.
Now, Bob in your chat is saying Wall Street caused 70% of it. They should be in jail. And again, I have to disagree with Bob a little bit there, because Wall Street wouldn't be there if it wasn't for people investing in Wall Street. We're the ones that keep investing in Wall Street and keeping it around.
That is true.
This is what people need to understand. The way it was designed, we're the ones that hold the power and the key to our own futures. We just keep letting other people handle it for us, whether that be Wall Street, government, whatever the case may be. We decided it's just easier to let other people handle that for us.
That is true. I got to agree with you there. But it's again, what do we do to take it back, man? The problem is a lot of times when you go into that voting booth, a lot of times, like you, I look at I don't look at the label, whether they're Republican, Democrat, Independent, whatever the case. I look at the man, I look at the person, and try to gauge, are they going to do the work, the people's work, the kind of things that I would like to see done? Are they, I'm not going to agree with everything, obviously, that they may espouse, but, the closest possible, without looking at the party affiliation. But many times, especially up in my area, and I talk about it all the time. I mean, I've talked to people in my area, Rick, believe this or not. They said if Obama was to run for president for a third term, if he was able to, they'd fucking vote him back in again. All right? That's what we're dealing with.
Well, look what happened. I mean, look at all the lies that came forward his first term, and we voted him back in the second term. And, granted for you, I think Republicans haven't had much to choose from. I mean, I'll come out and say Romney wasn't necessarily my guy. Would I rather have him over Obama? Yeah, I think so. I think he's got more experience.
Right.
And but he certainly wasn't my guy, and, I gave up party affiliations a long time ago. It really is for me who this person is and what they voted for and their history and their experience. And, I try to look at all that. I'm not one of these guys that'll walk into the booth and just fill out a straight Republican ticket or a straight, straight ticket, if you will.
Right. But I'll tell you.
And I'll be quite honest, I didn't vote for Obama or Romney. And that's just because that's how I am. Neither one of them were my guy.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna waste my vote on something I don't believe in. And I've gotten a lot of flack for that. But I'm sorry. I take my voting duties seriously. And I'm not going to just hand my vote off because he might be the better of two evils. If I don't believe in what you believe in, you're not getting my vote. You're not the person that I want representing me.
Absolutely. I agree with you there. You know, I work for a guy over here, a candidate running for Congress last in 2012. Former head of the state police. The guy had, immaculate. His credentials were outstanding. And he was a Republican, but he was a independent thinking. Like, he was not walking lockstep into everything the Republicans believed in, which I admire in a person. I look for that in a person. Thinking out of the box and not being led by the nose. But we ran a tough campaign with this guy, and he was running against a one-time incumbent. The guy that was in there was a former mayor of our capital city here in Rhode Island. And after the guy left office, we found out about all these lies that he told with regard to his mayoralty in the capital city, plus other things he was involved with. And this guy, beat our guy 59. I think he won with like 59% of the vote. But what happened was, the guy had a war chest. He had his army out there that marched and walked around, and they go all over to all these public service projects and take people in vans over to the voting place. And here in the state, you can actually have somebody go in the booth with you to assist you with your filling out of your ballot if you need to. You know what I'm saying? And they had gerrymandered the district to move 7,000 more Democrats into his district from the District 2 in our state prior to the election.
That's where you get into the Electoral College and what a joke that is.
Yeah, exactly. Got to go with the popular vote, man. I got to agree with you there. That
clip you played, he brought up a good point with that Electoral College, and although yours wasn't a presidential race, it's still is a good example. With the Electoral College, everything's split up into districts, and that's what's happening is the federal government is moving in, certain bureaucrats into certain districts.
Exactly.
And so that way it manipulates how that vote goes, or how, because you get certain amount of votes for however each district votes.
Yeah.
Anybody who's paid attention to elections know it's too fucking... It's too hard to explain, and they do it that way on purpose. But it's a sham. It's a joke, and we need to get rid of it because it's one other way the federal government has. It's a big way the federal government has taken over because it's allowed them to manipulate the districts the way they have to run these races the way they have.
Yeah, and I couldn't believe they my candidate challenged it in court and lost. This was like 2 months before the election that they moved this whole block of voters into this other guy's district that he was running against, and he ended up going down in defeat. And we're reaping what we sow now because this buffoon we got in there now for his second term, and I got a feeling this guy's going to be locked in there for years to come, man. And this, it's so goddamn frustrating up in this part of the country. To echo what you were saying earlier, man, about moving some of these knuckleheads out of office, man. It just, my area is we're like so out of step with the rest of the world and the clear thinking people out in the Midwest and so on, man. This part of the country is like if you got a D in front of your name, you're in. You know what I'm saying? Basically is what it is. If you got that Democratic label, and it's you try to talk to people and bring up points and common sense. And like I said, they just refuse to believe it. And, like I said, if Obama was to run again, he'd definitely, my state would be behind him 100%, most of the people in this state, man. And it just blows my mind. Just blows my mind, man.
I don't get it. There's all this talk of, all this chemical spraying in the air, and it must be what it is. Some type of chemical spraying that's seeping into our skulls and into our brains and just turning us stupid, because I don't get it. I don't get it. I know there's a lot of outrage for the shit this administration has been getting away with, but and then, and again, back to the federal government where it's both sides. Even on the Republican side, we hear all this outrage. Why is nothing happening?
Yeah. Well, as far as I'm concerned, the bullshit, to me, it's like a dog and pony show out there on C-SPAN when you're watching these hearings out in public in the Senate or the Congress, and they're debating issues. But then these guys go back in the cloakroom, and they're all part of one big fraternity. You know what I mean? They're all reaping the benefits, like you were saying earlier, 174,000 plus all the benefits. They're laughing their ass off, at us citizenry, man. I'm telling you, man. They're glad-handing backs, patting each other on the back for the great job they're doing, which is the bullshit, man. I'm telling you right now.
All these people who are dependent on the government and collect welfare, and now, again, I always have to make this clear, because I always have someone, not everybody on welfare. Listen, I know, except for the small percentage of people, very small percentage of people who actually need it. But all the rest of these people on welfare, if they only realize how much more money would be out there for them if the government that they're dependent on wasn't out there flying their personal jets and filling their pockets with $174,000 a year, voting their own raises, spending millions of your tax dollars on why snails have sex and all kinds of shit like that. If they only stopped and thought for a minute of all the extra money that would be out there if that was all under control, they wouldn't even need that welfare.
And welfare was meant to be a temporary help to get you over the hump and get you back. Yeah, that's what it's become, Rick. It's ridiculous. And I look at public housing, too. My family, my grandfather started off in public housing back in the day. But they worked their ass off to get the hell out of there and get their own property and move on with life, man. It's like nowadays it's like generation after one generation and the next generation, and they're on welfare and they're in the Section 8 housing, and nothing's happening. They're going nowhere. They're just, like you said, counting on the government to take care of all their needs. And to me,
Ernie, the government gives them what, a couple $100 in food stamps, maybe $500 a month to just barely get by, and meanwhile crying that $174,000 ain't enough for them.
Yeah. Get that right. That's the bullshit. Isn't that amazing?
We are stupid.
But I'm telling you, we gotta wake people up, man. Whatever happened to and the thing is, during Clinton's era, they came up with this reform of the welfare system where you only can collect so many years and you got to be looking for employment and all that bullshit. But the loophole is, you got people in Massachusetts, they exhaust their 3-year benefits or whatever it is, then they move to Rhode Island, they get another 3 years, then they move to Connecticut, they get another 3 years, then they move to New York. You know what I'm saying? And that's got to be looked at long and hard, man, because that is killing us, man. That whole entitlement system in our country right now is killing us, and the numbers are like, you look at the financial numbers and the obligations and what we're putting out, it's amazing. And what's wrong with people that are able-bodied collecting welfare? Get them out of the house, get them on their ass doing some community service projects in their city or town. What the hell's wrong with that?
It's funny you mention that, because that is the one. There are, I'll probably get some flack for this. There were a few things Clinton did that I personally liked. I don't say I liked him as a president or I wanted him as a president, but there are a couple of things he did. But one major thing he did that I really, really had a lot of respect for was the work for welfare.
Right.
You had so long to get a part-time job or what have you for your benefits to keep coming. You had to work for that welfare. You couldn't just sit on your ass and collect it all day. Now, of course, there's some pretty clever people out there that could find loopholes and still sit on their ass all day. But for the most part, at least he addressed that situation, and I had a lot of respect for him out of that. Now, Bob in your chat brings up a good point. He says on Section 8 they get a $2,500 apartment for $200, and that's absolutely true.
Right.
And I think that's ridiculous. If you're going to have my money, listen, as a taxpayer, I have my own family to take care of, and then some, okay? And now you want me to help take care of your family too, and now you're going to go find a place better than what I'm living in and have my tax dollars pay for it. See, I think that's another thing that should be controlled.
Yeah, it's got to be tightened up, man. It's out of control. It really is. I'm telling you right now, it blows me away, man. It's the entitlements, in Massachusetts where I taught school, they got another thing where if you have a kid in school, little Hunter's having trouble up there, apologize. But
he doesn't want to go to school.
Yeah. He's not liking this topic. But anyway, they had a thing in Massachusetts where if your child was quote unquote said they had a learning disability, or they were put on an individualized education plan, which essentially said, for whatever the learning disability, or what, there were a number of different things they could be put on an IEP for. They would give $600 per child. You get an extra $600 for every child of yours that's a quote unquote special needs and needs special help in schools. So we had families that I worked with in my classroom. I worked with special needs kids. This one family, they had 5 kids. Every single one of them was autistic. So they're getting $3,000. The mother and the father sit home on their ass all day long, do nothing but, they're getting high, doing this and that, and collecting that $3,000, plus all these other benefits we're giving them. And, it's just...
Well, but you know how they design that. The way they design that to take away from is, it's for the kids.
Right.
It's for those kids, and so you have to they've designed it to where you have to get what you really think about it past the part of the parents just sitting on their asses getting high, doing nothing all day, while they're collecting this bonus for having, some autistic kids. And, autism, I think, is kind of an iffy thing. I have a nephew who has autism, and I think, I think there's different types of autism.
There is.
And, he happens to have a type to where he can still function.
Right.
Some things take a little bit of work, but he can still function, and for the most part, he's a pretty normal boy. Right. So I don't see why you'd have to collect something over that,
Yeah, well, and then, the $3,000 a month, but, we're supplementing. These kids are coming in with clothes, you wouldn't believe the clothes and the way these kids are dressed, and they got no grooming. So the school, now the teachers are all kicking in money to pay for this stuff for them. And they get free lunch and free breakfast in school Monday through Friday. And, just the beat goes on, man. It's just, and these people are sucking up that $3,000, and they're putting none of it toward their kids. We're still over and above that $3,000 supporting this family. It's just one example. I'm sure there's many, many more out there, but it just used to really piss me off, man. I'll tell you right now.
You know what pisses me off is I go into the grocery store, right? And I got somebody in front of me paying for fucking 2 cartloads full of fucking food, most of it junk food, and then they pull out this card, this welfare card, right?
Oh yeah, the EBT card, yep.
And so now, they're gone. I'm next. I'm paying for my stuff. I pay cash. I walk out, and here are these fuckers loading their shit in the back of a Cadillac. Fucking got the music bumping while they're loading it in. And,
that's some
bullshit. What the fuck?
That's some bullshit, man. That's unbelievable. Unbelievable, man. You're right. They, and they got the, the bling bling, and they got the, the best cell phones, and they, they're smoking on their cigarettes, and they're, it's, and these EBT cards, I think you can even use them like at McDonald's, fast food places. I mean, they accepted them in more and more different places. It's like unbelievable.
More places. We had a place here in town that was I don't know if they're still doing it or if they got in trouble, but you could use your welfare card there for cigarettes and alcohol.
Jesus. And how many times do they say, I got $100 in benefits. If you give me $50 cash, I'll let you give you the $100 on the card. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That goes on. The fraud and the waste and the abuse. And
does the bar take EBT?
I bet you would find some bar to take it, right?
Yeah, that was Barco in the chat there. He also commented when we were talking about the Section 8, and it actually brings up, shows a good point, when we were talking about, get a $2,500 place for $200. He was like, well, shit, where do I sign up? I'll take that deal.
Hell yeah.
And that's why they design it that way. They want you to take that deal. They want you to be dependent on them. I mean, I personally knew people growing up that knew all the loopholes and all the ways around to get their benefits and everything they could under the sun. And I'm telling you what, man, if they were the type of people, if our government told them, hey, on this deal you're going to make more than that $10 an hour you're making there working, they'd quit their job as a reason to collect whatever benefit.
Yeah, I know it. It's like the incentive nowadays is to sit home on your ass. You're going to make out better, man. It's the incentive.
Well, let me tell you something, Ernie. America wasn't built by a bunch of people sitting on their asses.
You got that right. You got that right, my friend. There ain't no doubt about that. That is.
Why don't you, seeing as how you're a bad guy to look at chat, why don't you say hello to like Ed and Dino and
Yeah. Sorry about that. I didn't mean. I'm
Bob.
sorry. I've been ignoring the chat room. I'm over here. Got the thing up here. Let me go over here and see if I can get into the chat room right now. The SansNet Radio Network. Let me go over here. Yeah. Apologize for that. Thanks for mentioning that, Rick. I appreciate that, man. I was
just doing Jay's job, Ernie. Just doing Jay's job.
But yeah, it's let me see. Let me go over here. This is actually on the Night Talk platform. I didn't have the code for the other one. All right, let me go over here to the chat room right now. Pimp Daddy Joel's out there. Pimp Daddy, nice to see you, my friend. Bob Steele again. Legals know all the help. Yeah, there are. Oh, Ed's trying to call me. What are you trying to call me on? Skype, Ed? You have to. All right. Then Dino's out there. Hey, Dino, how you doing, man? Good to see you, Dino. Barco's out there. Barco's a hot shit, man. I like Barco, man. He comes up with some funny shit out there.
He does crack me up.
It's a good
little
guy.
bit of a troublemaker, but hey, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Funny.
Nothing wrong with stirring it up a little bit, man. It's all good. It's all good. But you calling me on Skype, Ed? I don't know. I got the Skype on the phone right now that I'm talking to Rick on. A little low-tech way here. Let me see if I can find the cowboy. I don't know. Cowboy, where is he? But, yeah, I don't know, Rick. The thing that bothers me the most is when I look at, like, my... that was Jay calling me on the landline. Jay, call me on unseen if you're out there listening. You still there, Rick? Yo, Rick. Oh, okay, I lost Rick there. Sorry about that. Let's see. Let me see here. Freaking Ernie. Oh, there we go. I think we got interrupted. Jay was trying to call me on the landline, Rick. But you know
Jay.
What? Yeah. Jay, can you call me on unseen if you're out there listening? Give me an unseen call. But what I was going to say, Rick, is what bothers me the most is when I look at little kids like my little nephew over here, 3 years old, and my son who's 23, and the burden we're putting on their shoulders by decisions being made today, and they're kind of kicking that can down the road, to use that cliche they always use out there, and that's what bothers me the most. It's like every generation prior to this, it kind of tried to leave their kids in a better place, if you know what I'm saying. Whereas nowadays, it's not that way, man. I hate to keep harking back to the old days, but I think you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do, and I'm still kind of young in the whole scheme of things, politically, in life in general, what have you. But I even back in my day, you remember hearing, even over the airwaves and throughout our government, that it's every American has always strived to, so their children will have it better than what they did. And I think this is the first generation ever that we've actually we've tried to make it worse for them than what we had it.
We are succeeding, man. No doubt about it. The bill is going to come due at some point in time, man. And these, our kids are going to be the one that have to pay for all this crazy shit going on nowadays. That's what bothers me the most, man. It really does with all this. That's my bottom line, man. The wrong we're doing to the next generation of our country. And not only, with some of the economic decisions we're making, but, some of the trial balloons, some of the bullshit, some of the guinea pig kind of stuff we're exposing them to in our school systems. And
oh yeah,
the way they're being raised, even like GOOFYBONE was mentioning about, sports and so forth and so on, and the message we're sending the kids. It's just like I don't know, man. It's just...
Well, and that's part of the problem. Once again, government But it's the schools. I mean, my generation and the ones above me were actually taught proper history in school. This generation now is being taught a whole new written history.
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely been some changes to the script, so to speak, if you know what I'm saying. And so you got to look at who is writing these textbooks and some of the companies that are putting these things out, and it's like a changed version. It's they have their little spin on different things, and you can just read by reading a textbook, you can tell kind of which side of the road these people are on, if you know what I'm saying. It's the slant, and it goes along with a lot of what Obama's been doing. When he started off, when he first got elected, that worldwide apology tour for all our past transgressions, and apologizing for us being the wealthiest, most powerful, most affluent society that this face of this earth has ever seen. Remember all that apology tour he went on? And
oh, yeah. And shortly after that, he started bowing to every other fucking leader in the world.
Yeah, what kind of horse shit? Unprecedented shit, you know what I'm saying? He ain't pumping us up, he's bringing us down. And the guy that supposedly was the one bringing us all together, and I'm going to put bills up that people are going to be able to review for a week before we vote on it, and they're going to know who's affected by things, and they're going to know who the lobbyists are involved with it, and what they got involved in stake in the certain issues. And that's all been bullshit. This, to me, is such a divisive. They put that wedge in there, and I think it's all intentional. It really is.
Yeah. It's it is. And again, we've been. I think this has been kind of the tone of the show all afternoon. Is at least in my opinion. And again, this is a federal government issue. This is because our federal government is completely out of control, and it's gotten to the point to where I'm talking now. We need to do something now, starting with these midterms, to get these guys reined in and under control, or that's it, people. It's lost.
Yeah, it really is, man. I gotta say that. But and it's it's going to be very interesting to see too, because Obama's all done finally with this second term. It's going to be very interesting to see moving forward who's going to step forward as far as candidates. Yeah, she's the kind
She's
of.
got it. You know what? I'm telling you right now, if she does run, you might as well consider that your next president. Guaranteed. I'd be willing to put $1,000 on it.
Now, I got to look this up. I'm not a constitutional scholar, but could Clinton could her husband be involved with her administration? Like, could he be her running mate, or maybe she?
No, I don't think so. I think he would enjoy number one. I think he'd enjoy being. Not only was he the first black president, he'd enjoy being the first lady. That's first and foremost, guaranteed. But Clinton. He doesn't want to work. He wants to get back in that White House to just kind of sit around and, take advantage of the people's time and money again.
I'll hire all the interns for you, honey.
Yeah, that's what he'd be. His chief of intern staff.
But I bet, that's interesting. But I don't know. She's the kind of person. I guess people either love her or hate her. You can put me on the hate side, man. I'm not opposed to a female president, but not her. No way in hell.
Yeah. Well, listen, Obama, the only reason why he got voted in was simply because he's black. I don't care what anybody says. You can call me racist all fucking day long. He hasn't had one accomplishment that got him into the presidency. He got in because he was black. Hillary will get in simply just because she's a female. And that for some reason, our society, that's what we get off on. Being the first to do this and the first to do that, like this whole gay in the NFL thing. Who the fuck cares who this guy is fucking in the ass on his off time? We don't tune into the NFL and watch a game because somebody's straight, gay, black, white, whatever the fucking case may be. We tune in to watch a game. But now they've turned this into, it's like a popularity contest now.
Oh, yeah, you're right about that.
In a sense, between cultures. Not even, it's a popularity contest in your favorite team or what have you, but they've turned it into a popularity contest among culture.
That's for sure, man. There is no doubt about that. I agree with you there. Listen to this cut, Rick. Listen to this. This is what many voters thought.
Never one time of my life. It was a touching moment. Because I on my car. I won't have to worry about paying my mortgage. You know, if I help him, he's going to help me.
So if I help him, he's going to help me. Are Barack Obama supporters already banking on a free ride? Well, Michelle Malkin says get used to it if Obama wins it. Explain, Michelle.
Well, this is a woman I call Peggy the Moocher. John McCain had Joe the Plumber and Tito the Builder, and this woman, Peggy Joseph, was exulting after an Obama rally earlier this week to a Sarasota, Florida reporter, and you heard her. She basically
you don't think Peggy or whatever is indicative of all of his supporters, do you?
Well, you might call her, to paraphrase Obama, a typical Obama supporter. Look, Barack Obama campaigned as the soul fixer and healer in chief, and his last infomercial basically sent the message that this woman obviously has received over the last 21 months, that she won't have to worry about paying her bills or her mortgage. Now, there is a caveat, of course, and we've talked about this, Neil, in that John McCain's rescue plan for homeowners, owners and borrowers underwater was far more generous than Barack Obama's. And I think, you know, the bottom line here, and you've got these totemic opposites of Joe the Plumber on the one hand and Peggy the Moocher on the other hand, as I call her. There is still stark ideological difference among the rank and file electorate. The problem, however, is that these ideological differences have been completely blurred over the last year with all of these bailout binges. And as conservatives and fiscal conservatives, what few of them are left in Washington, retrench after this election, because look, if the results are going to be bad in the House and Senate, let's face it, never mind what goes on in the White House, all this talk of rebranding and what the Republican Party should do, it's very simple. They should all get a copy of a mirror and a copy of The Road to Serfdom and ask themselves whether they've contributed to the problem or are helping to solve it.
All right. While I still have you here, I want to talk about this incident in Philadelphia. These alleged Black Panthers blocking some white voters from accessing a voting station. It's hardly indicative of what's going on throughout Philadelphia. This station, though, caused a little bit of an uproar. How big a deal is this?
It's worrisome. It's a worrisome sign, and I've had quite my own personal experiences with the radicals and the new Black Panther Party, and I also think that we should look at what they've said over this last week.
All right, that's just a little tidbit of what we were talking about. Yeah, that was before his first term when he was elected. Obama will take care of me, and many people still believe in that. He'll take care of me. He'll take care of me. Unbelievable, huh? Jesus.
Yeah, I'd love to talk with that Peggy the Moocher chick, the one in the beginning there. I never have to pay my mortgage again. I won't have to put gas in my own car. Well, you know what? Who the fuck is supposed to do this for you? I mean, you think everybody else is supposed to do this for you? What the hell? You can walk, talk, breathe, stand. You look pretty well to me. You mean to tell me somebody else should be paying your mortgage and gas? Who's supposed to be paying mine?
I saw this thing on YouTube. A woman has 13 kids, Rick, and she was staying in this hotel room that was getting paid by the local government. Yeah. And she was bitching, who's going, you got to get over here and take care of me. You got to come over here and take care of these children. They need this, they need that. I couldn't believe it, man.
I did a show way back in the day when I was doing Taking Back America. Man, I did a show on that bitch.
Okay, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. Man.
Oh, I do, man. In fact, I played that clip. I played the news reports. I had a bunch of other shit that I had on it, and I dedicated almost a whole damn show to that bitch, man. I was just so appalled, and she did. She flat out said, somebody needs to come take care of all these kids.
Exactly. It's like, I could not believe that, man. I said, but there are people out there like that. You know what you should do, Rick? You got those shows in your archives, a lot of those old shows?
I'm going to have to look to see if that stuff's on this computer. I think I've since gotten a new computer since doing Taking Back America, and I don't have everything that I had on that other computer over to here, so I'll have to look.
I think maybe, it might be a cool thing is maybe, on Sundays you ain't able to do a show. Maybe rebroadcast one of your old Taking Back America
shows.
all
the shows are still here on Spreaker, every single one.
Yeah? Oh, yeah. So good stuff there, man. Good stuff.
And I've gotten lots of arguments with Pumpkin Face over this. I personally don't like the show back then. And the only reason why I don't like it is because I'm a different me now. That was my first time ever turning on a microphone, and I can hear it in my voice when I listen to those old shows. I can hear, I just could hear, not quite the confidence, because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, for Christ's sakes. You know what I mean? And I listen to them, and I just, in my ears, I hear some little timid-ass weasel that doesn't know what he's doing. I don't know. I hear a difference.
Yeah, they're definitely you definitely have evolved, and your shows are tremendous now, man. But it's all it's all a learning process. And, from somebody that never had no exposure or nothing like this ever done before, man. It's all good stuff, man. It's all good stuff. Even your production stuff you put together is tremendous, as I mentioned to you many times. But good stuff, man. I think I'm gonna maybe sign off now, Rick. I think we had a couple hours here, and I appreciate you joining me today, and shooting the shit, and back here on the SansNet Radio Network, back on the back porch having a conversation. And I wanted to thank GOOFYBONE for stopping in earlier as well, and all you folks out there in the chat room that I have been failing to acknowledge. I appreciate you all being out there, and thanks for pointing that out to me, Rick, helping out with that. And we look forward to Rick. We'll give him a few hours before he gets ready to get back in the big chair tonight. That's at 10 p.m. on Night Talk with Rick Sands filling in tonight for Mr. Jay Sands.
Hey, Ricky Sands.
Ricky Sands. Yes, indeed, Ricky Sands. So have a great show tonight, Rick. I'll be over there listening and be in the chat room as always. And as it usually is over there, it's a great chat room, man. We have a good time in there shooting the shit, going back and forth about many times topics unrelated to what's being talked about over the air, as you know.
Yeah, and I'm feeling like I'm going to have to blow off some steam after all this serious talk. And speaking of that, too, I might have to hire you as my bouncer, because, I try to provide a safe, fun environment in my chat rooms, in my show chat. And, Ernie, I don't log into the network itself per se when I.
Well, I can take care of that aspect for you.
There you go, my bouncer.
Yes, indeed, and you give me the high sign, and we'll take care of what we got to take care of. Yeah, definitely.
We're not. I've decided, we won't make a big deal of it.
No.
Or anything. I'll just give you kind of a heads up, and you'll take care of it for me.
That's it, man. I got you covered. We'll have you back tonight, and we will definitely take care of that. Because actually, we had a person getting into the chat room on my station last night during BEP. BEP does a show 7 to 10, as you know, before Jay comes on, and so some knucklehead out there was posting some stuff. So we got rid of them, and we'll take care of it. We'll keep our eye on that door tonight.
It just brings the chat down. People are out there having a good fucking time, and then you got somebody come in, and everybody turns their attention to fighting with that, whatever, and it takes all the fun away. So, like I said, we won't bring a lot of attention to it. We'll handle it professionally.
There you go, man, and I'm with you there. So I will definitely be there for you tonight, taking care of that. I look forward to your show tonight. Again, that's tonight at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time here on the SansNet Radio Network. Rick will be covering for Jay tonight on Night Talk, and then of course Saturday night we'll have the Harbinger coming on at 8 o'clock, leading into Rick with Night Talk, the weekend edition, Saturday night 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the SansNet Radio Network. And Sunday's going to be a night off, so look forward to tonight and tomorrow night, Rick, and have a great night, man. We'll see you a little bit later on tonight, man.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on, Ernie.
All right, take care, Rick. Bye for now. Well, there you have it, my friends. That's Sands and Abbott, a conversation for today. I'd like again to thank GOOFYBONE for joining us. And, of course, Rick hanging in there and getting involved in the conversation today. And, Jay, I apologize. I know Jay tried to call on the phone, and I declined the call while we had Rick on the air with me. I'll be calling you right after the show, Jay, and thanks for that. I hope everything's going okay. And, again, thank you all for listening. And that is my buddy, Hunter. Mommy's hungry, yeah. Okay, let me play one song going out. Here we go. This is our outro for the show. And thank you again for listening to the Sands and Abbott, a conversation. We'll see you all next Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't forget, Rick covering for Jay tonight on Night Talk on the SansNet Radio Network. Take care, everybody. Peace out. Have a great night. See you a little later.